Literally, why are we not taught how to study? When you need to learn a lot of information for school or university, it's so overwhelming to know where to start. There are so many study techniques nowadays, from highlighting your notes to using flashcards, that it's really hard to know what's actually a good use of your time. I want you guys to be productive queens, so today we are talking about what is the best study technique. I'm going to be ranking the most common study techniques from you're kind of wasting your time and you should be watching Netflix to my personal top tier ranking, casual magic, of course, where it's just so efficient that it feels like magic. Last year I wrote a book called The Only Study Guide You'll Ever Need, and I'm currently studying a degree in cognitive science. So the rankings in this video will be heavily based on a bunch of different evidence-based papers from the science of learning. Other criteria include efficiency. We've got lives to live, we don't want to be wasting time. Helping you remember content rather than understanding, because I feel like that's more where classes and lectures come in. And obviously my own experience and what has worked for me. Let's get into it. Okay, first we have blurting. A little bit biased because I helped come up with it, but this is my all-time favorite technique. This technique requires you to choose a topic that you want to learn, and you blurt down on a piece of paper everything that you can remember just from memory, so without notes. You can time yourself doing it, you can give yourself prompt words, and when you're finished, you compare whatever you've written to your actual notes. You can highlight what you got wrong, what you missed out, and very quickly you can see the gaps in your knowledge. It's so good. It uses active recall. The quality of your learning is literally so good from the time spent that it is almost magic. Now we have highlighting. I think we've just gone from the best to the worst. I am a sucker for a pastel highlighter, and I really appreciate all my aesthetic queens who are like me. But guys, you've been sold a lie in terms of how useful it is. Multiple papers in the cognitive science space has deemed highlighting as a low utility revision technique. It is a solid relegation to waste of time. Sorry, my aesthetic queens. Oh, now we have flashcards. This can be done on Anki, on Quizlet, or physical flashcards, and damn, this is like straight A-star worthy. Flashcards are so good because you can integrate active recall, you can integrate spaced repetition. There are so many platforms nowadays that make it easier. You can make them as hard or as easy as you like because you're choosing what goes on them. But I do think they can get repetitive and sometimes be time inefficient because you don't always know which ones you know really well and which ones you don't know as well. So it's not casual magic. It's a little bit repetitive, but it still gets you the A-star. Ooh, teaching others. A lot of papers rank self-explanation and teaching others as a mid-tier revision technique. It's good because you can prove that you do understand something, and the act of summarizing it to someone who is not familiar with the content is a really good practice for you, and it can definitely reveal gaps in your knowledge. However, is it really teaching you what's on the mark scheme? Are you really applying your knowledge in a new way? Is it definitely going to get you an A-star? I don't know. So I'm going to put decent. You should do it, but don't rely on it. Past papers. We love. So many science of learning papers rank practice testing as god tier, high utility. So it's got to be an A-star from me. Like, also in my personal experience, it's just so useful to see what an examiner actually wants, to learn from other people's essays, to go over mistakes that you have made, to apply your knowledge. We love her, but she's also a lot of effort and sometimes very time consuming. So it's not going to be a casual magic, but it is going to be very good grades. Spaced repetition, I feel like Ali Abdaal. This is more of a principle than a technique, and this principle is essential. You can feed it into any technique that you're using. The idea is you're using the forgetting curve of human memory to make sure that every time your knowledge of something is getting low, you're getting it back up to 100% again. Right now I'm learning Spanish, and when I'm learning some new vocabulary, obviously one day after I've gone over it, I can still kind of remember the words. 2 days after having seen it, I can still kind of remember the words. But about 1 week after having that Spanish lesson, my knowledge of those Spanish words is just disappearing. And the beauty is, if I keep going over that vocabulary at set intervals, I'm gonna make sure I'm getting it into my long-term memory. I think because this is a principle, it's gotta be casual magic, because it literally feels like magic how just making a better use of time and interval practice can absolutely revolutionize the work that you're doing. Watching videos like you are right now. For me, this is like rewatching lectures, watching breakdowns on YouTube. I think this is so good for two things. It's amazing to help you understand something new, and it's amazing to inspire your curiosity about why this thing is cool. However, it is very bad for remembering stuff. How many YouTube videos have you watched and literally 2 days later you couldn't remember a single thing? It's like in one ear, out the other ear. So Watching videos, it's got to be meh. It's not a total waste of time, but it's not going to get you an A star on its own. The Pomodoro Technique, we love her. She's gotten us through some unmotivated days. This is more of a productivity hack. It's basically the idea that you only spend 25 minutes studying and then you reward yourself with a 5-minute break after. And I think it's really good if you're struggling to get into a study flow. All you've got to do is commit to doing 25 minutes. Anyone can do that. And so I think it's decent. It's like really helpful to get you started studying, but then what you're doing in that time really matters to be getting the A star or the magic. Okay, making notes. I often see this as essential in a classroom environment. It can even help you keep your attention and focus in a lecture scenario because you are writing down things that are being said. But I think there's so much variation in what makes notes good or bad. Great notes are where you are making associations to past content. You're like, oh my God, this connects to something I learned 3 classes ago, because you're building this foundation of knowledge in your brain. And also using the Feynman technique where you write down questions for your future self. That's really good because you're quite active in the process of making your notes. However, if it's just like copying stuff down, you're just reciting what the teacher's saying, it's so passive that it's kind of a waste of time. So I'm gonna put making notes in meh because I feel like a lot of the time it is kind of a waste of time, but they can be done well. Interleaving, this is basically the idea that you study one subject and then you change it up by studying something else before you come back to revisiting that initial subject. So rather than doing like maths for 10 hours, you could do maths for 20 minutes, then English language for 20 minutes, then French for 20 minutes, and then come back to the maths. And if you still remember it, then bam, you're doing quite well. Most cognitive science papers rank interleaving as a mid-tier, mid-utility technique. And I think I'm similar, like it's decent. It's kind of similar to the Pomodoro Technique in it can help you shape your study practices, but on its own doesn't guarantee good grades. Listening to music, controversial. I think there are 2 things to take into account here. The first is efficiency of what you're learning, and the second one is fun. In terms of efficiency, there are a lot of studies that suggest that listening to music can actually even hinder your study practice, especially if it has words or vocals, because there's evidence that you'll be thinking about the words, the lyrics in the song. However, I do appreciate music enhances the fun. Like I have a study playlist that if I want to get into the zone, I will listen to it, and it's just like habit. It's so lovely coming to my desk, listening to this thing that I've created for the certain moment of studying, and especially some lo-fi beats, some classical music, like that enhances the study process. And honestly, making studying fun is so important to you sticking with it and wanting to come back and do more. So I think listening to music is like, is it a decent or I'm gonna put it in meh. It's not giving you anything extra, but it can make the whole thing more fun. And finally, rereading notes or textbook. All the cognitive science papers say this is solid, low utility, waste of time. And I don't know about you guys, but this is the main technique that I used for the majority of secondary school. If no one teaches you how to study, then obviously you're gonna assume that rereading the information is helping you. It makes you feel clever, it makes you feel like the information's in your head, but it really just doesn't do much for you. You need stuff which is active, like pulling stuff out of your brain. Okay, so this is the final tier ranking. Obviously this is just my opinion, having read a lot on the topic and just having a lot of stuff to learn at university. And I think an important point to note is there's a big difference between study techniques we enjoy using and study techniques which are actually useful based on scientific evidence. Like I enjoy making notes, but I know that they're not actually that effective in helping me learn. And I can still make notes, especially if it makes studying more fun for me. But it's just important to weave in things which are actually working for the goals that I have. Oh my god, look at this little random lens flare rainbow going on. It really said, Jade, you are casual magic tier, so thank you, light. I also want to say that most studies clarify that their conclusions are not always generalizable across all contexts, all people, so even though techniques are evidence-based, it might not work for everyone. So try things out, see what you like to use, see what gets you the results, and I'm so excited for your academic year ahead. I would love to hear your thoughts. I am going into my final year of university next year and I just feel in a good place with how to study, so yeah, you get better over time. Sending you so much love. Bye guys.